Broadcasting live from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip, it's Talktails with Chris Phillips. Coming up on today's show, singing impressionist and the human jukebox, Greg London. And now a man whose pillowcases are made from Crown Royal velvet bags, Mr. Chris Phillips. Yeah.
Wow. You always make me feel so welcome. I feel like I'm at home with my mom and my dad. I would wake up in the morning and they would applaud for me. That was the only time that, you know, no, but that's what you call feeling sorry for your son, you know. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, you're watching the Vegas Video Network. I am Chris Phillips, and you are watching the wildly popular Talktails. And we couldn't be more excited. As you know, we get to spend every Monday afternoon having a couple cocktails and just have the opportunity to speak with some of my friends about my favorite subject in the world, and that is Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. And before we get started today, I just want to remind you, as always, you can write to us or ask any questions by simply going to Talktails at vegasvideonetwork.com. You can also call us on our toll-free number, which is 866-966-4599, and I would love to hear from you this week, and we'll get back to you within a couple months. Oh, Scott, I have to apologize. I always feel like I'm apologizing every time I come on to you for canceling a show last week. I am so sorry.
It's okay, I understand.
I'll be honest with you, though. The first time in 27 years, I not only had to cancel you, I had to cancel a Zoe Bowie show. I've not canceled a show in 27 years.
Really?
Until this past week.
Why?
Because my girlfriend, Tiffany, invited me to go to the thriving community of Clinton, Arkansas.
My apologies.
Have you ever been to Clinton, Arkansas, Scott?
No, sir.
I'm not sure if I necessarily want to move there, but it's a lovely community, and I found that some of the people actually have teeth.
Nice.
But no, it was lovely. In all honesty, we had a wonderful family reunion of her father's relatives, and we got a chance to meet a lot of people, and I discovered that my girlfriend's father was a year and a half older than I am. Are you serious?
How was that?
Are you serious? That is a true story, sir. Well, all I can tell you is he was a senior when I was a sophomore.
Nice. Nice.
So I'm 30. Yeah.
Nice. You're going to hell, Chris.
So that made for interesting conversation, and nonetheless, I am back. I am here with you folks, and today I am so excited because I have somebody with us as our guest that is keeping a tradition alive here in Las Vegas that is very dear to my heart, because I used to come here back in the 70s, and one of the things I used to love doing most is going to see impressionists. Now, back, I think it was about 73 or 75 is the first time I came here, and I saw Rich Little. He was amazing. And coincidentally, it was so strange, I was getting in an elevator after I just saw Rich Little, and I ran into a fellow by the name of Fred Travalina, who also, as some of you may know, not quite as big a name, but kept their tradition alive in this town. And obviously, over the years, there's some names that became kind of household words here in Las Vegas. Yes, Schmidt. But I'm talking, of course, about Danny Gans. Made an impressionist a big-time headliner show on the level of a Cirque show or international celebrity headlining status. He changed things, as Steve Wynn took him under his wing and said, you know what, I believe in you. Impressionists became worth big-time money. Then, of course, came along Gordie Brown. And with us today, we have the newest breed of big-time impressionists who are taking the city by storm. They are literally, hopefully, not only changing the face, but changing the faces of Las Vegas. And he's here with us today. We're going to take a short little break. And when we come back, we have a dear friend of mine, which I can't wait to talk to. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Greg London, the star of the Las Vegas Hilton, with us today. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Traditional media believes that after about 3 minutes, you'll tune out. Most Vegas media companies think if it doesn't jiggle, you won't tune in. At the Vegas Video Network, we think both are wrong. The Vegas Video Network is the first and only live online broadcast network that specializes in insider news and expert views about Vegas. We combine great storytelling with the ability to watch when and where you want on your computer, mobile device, or television. Discover the real Las Vegas. Visit VegasVideoNetwork.com.
Well, my friends, welcome back once again to Talktails. I am Chris Phillips, and I am sitting here with one of my dear friends and drinking buddies, as you can see, who is also a lover of Crown Royal Black. And
that seems to be the drink of
it
all
is. Carrot Top.
Carrot Top?
Frank Moreno. He's a Crown lover.
Frank Marino, Frankie Marino, Frank Marino, Francis Marino,
One
Fraylene
and the
Marino.
same.
There are like 5 different Marinos.
Well, I'll tell you something.
Greg.
I got to tell you something, Steve, Greg.
Greg, how many drinks have you had already?
No, man, this is your work. My 1 hour a day in which I get to really plow it on.
Okay. Now,
I got to tell you,
can I relax? Do I have to sit up like this? Do I have to sit up like, how do you want me? Like that? Like this? Or are we like talking like that? How are we talking?
However it makes you most tan.
Because
this is something that's upsetting me right off the bat.
That these lights are making me, these are like, I don't even need to go to a tanning machine ever again.
No, you have a cooler jacket than I'll ever have in my life. Well, and you have a better tan, and right off the bat, I have a problem.
You're known for your tan. But today,
I pay for mine, see? You have no idea how much I pay for this tan. I'm the color of my shirt normally.
Well, you know what I do? I play tennis every morning. I run for an hour. I'm just an outdoor kind of guy. Do you believe any of that?
No, but it pays off.
That's right. You're right.
Well, folks, you were sitting.
Let's talk about impressionists. You said impressions.
I said, but I know that you were much, much more than that, of course.
Well, that's interesting that you say that. I mean, I appreciate that, Chris.
But you were billed as impressions that rock.
Well, that's right. You know, it's like, how do you get a job in Las Vegas
I don't know.
As a singer? You figured it out, Zoe Bowie. But a guy like me, I came from the corporate world, and was singing songs on radio, which I had some stuff I didn't. I'm sure you've researched all of that.
Yes.
And then what got me here was the fact that I could do impressions. Now, Gordie Brown is like insane Robin Williams of impressions.
Yes.
And it's funny, Robin Williams, another story, because I used to room with Robin Williams at College of Marin. That's another story for another time with more of this stuff. But
oh, good God.
The impression thing came not from Danny Gans, because I was doing impressions in London, and then doing all the English impressionists, because I came from the UK.
Sure.
Do you know that? Anyway.
Yes, I do. Born in Northern California.
Born in Northern California. Oh, my God. Right. Born in Northern California, moved to the UK, started doing a show later on in life with impressions, and just happened to be, with all the English guys from David Bowie to all the Rolling Stones, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then came across with the corporate stuff, and then all of a sudden found myself with a producer that wanted to put me in Las Vegas. Well, here I am. And the impression thing to me now is interesting because I like a lot of it. I like doing it. I love singing it. But some of it, I'm kind of thinking that maybe it had its time. How's that for a conversation? Huh? You think of that? Okay.
Well, let's back up a little bit and let's figure out that this might be more therapy than an interview.
Session. I thought we were going to talk about girls.
I like talking about girls.
All right, but let's
I know you do.
I do. I'm divorced. Can I talk to I'm talking to out there. I'm divorced about 6 months ago.
Oh, it's that fresh.
Dating in Las Vegas.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Yes.
It's really weird.
You came to the right place, my friend.
I don't think so. I don't think I did. You mean with you? With you? Because you can help me?
No. Oh, yes. I'm the person, if you want relationship advice, you should talk to me.
Well, I want to talk to you. But let's finish up the impressionist thing. I think that there's still a place for it. The impersonator thing, I don't understand. I've never understood a guy that's like Dean Martin all the time or Elvis all the time.
Right.
Not that I don't think it's bad. I think it's terrific. I could never do that. I just can't. And even now I'm finding like, well, what new impressions can I do? Who's out there that's really interesting enough that I want, that my audience, who's probably like, probably 30 to 60 years old, who do they want to hear? It's really interesting right now. It's like I'm not I mean, obviously Ozzy Osbourne, and even those people are old. That's like 10 years ago. So what's new?
Well, for those of you watching who may not be familiar with Greg, he has an extremely hot show over at the Las Vegas Hilton. You've been over there for the last several months. You've also occupied some time at the Riviera here on the Strip. But
why are you laughing?
I am not. Are you kidding me? I wish I was on the Strip.
I thought I saw you laughing.
Not at all. But in your show, how many, I guess, rock stars would you say you go through in the course of an evening in terms of impersonating them? I mean, you go from, oh my God, it's an endless list of names that I don't know how you
probably about 40
flawlessly go through one to another. Now, are we talking about different costumes and things as well? Or?
Well, because this came from the a West End production show, it's not like a typical guy standing
in
there.
London.
In London, the UK, in the West End, in a theater called the Venue Theater.
Yes.
But what we had to do there was, because we didn't want to be a guy standing doing impressions, and just impression bang, 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 like a Danny Gans, we incorporated the theatrics to it. So having the big video screens, having the environment, having a live rocking band, having dancers, because and our dancers are like sexy dancers. They're not like they're really.
You have dancers?
Yeah, 3.
Can I admit something? You were the first guest that I've ever had on the show in about 19 weeks that I have not seen your show.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about your show.
How do you think I feel about that, folks?
So you have dancers. I'm coming.
I do.
You on tonight?
I have sexy dancers.
Oh, I'm coming.
Well, don't come tonight. Come
okay.
Well, drink more. The more you drink, the better the show is.
Of course.
And I think that the key is that I'm a singing impressionist. So like with Gordy, if he was like, yeah, he can start talking like, Arnold Schwarzenegger and going to that voice like that. And I can do that, but I like the singing. I like the Joe Cockers. I like the I even got to tell you, I even like the Sammy Davis Jr.'s, which, by the way, a lot of people don't even really remember anymore. How weird is that?
Right, I know.
And you have to move on.
He's my favorite entertainer of all time.
I loved Sammy. And Sammy was a great entertainer, and I guess you could equate him with, like, Michael Jackson.
Yes, sure.
And I don't do Michael Jackson because, frankly, I loved him, but I think it's not time yet for him.
Well, what was great about Sammy is he was, as some people may not know, one of the greatest impressionists of his time as well.
He was.
And one element to what he did, of course, which is, as with you, it's just one element.
Well, I think what happens is this. I'm hoping this would happen. You do the impressions because it sells. People that are mainstream, coming tourists in town, love to see all these people. They can get a front row seat to a lot of big shows. I mean, if you really do a good Garth or you do a good Ozzy Osbourne or Rod Stewart, that's kind of fun. And with the production, full band, dancing, like a real music video, that's what I'm trying to do.
I'm so excited to come see you now.
It's really
I had
different.
no idea.
Really?
No.
Did you think I was just up there?
I didn't know.
Going, yeah, man, very groovy, baby, yeah.
Hey, in this town, you have no idea until you actually sit down and the curtain opens.
It's true. You're right. And the problem in this town is getting the word out.
Yes.
And the longer you stay, the more you have the opportunity to get that word out. So I'm proud that we've been here for a year. Being here a year is tough.
Being here for a week is tough, let alone, and so you have persevered, and I'm extremely proud of you.
Well, thank you,
But let's back up just for a bit.
Thank you, brother.
Now, I'm guessing that obviously this influence comes from back when you were a kid, and I understand that your grandfather actually was a trumpet player, which influenced you to start playing trumpet.
That's correct.
To begin.
Very impressed.
Along with many other instruments.
By the way, do you drink on your drinking program? Just want to ask you. Oh, really?
Apparently, you haven't seen my show either.
Why can't I come when is there a time when there's like people, like a whole bunch, everyone's drinking, having a great time? Like a party?
We drink this whole
Could
show.
I come one of those days?
Right now is one of those days.
Yeah, but I have a show in, my goodness, about an hour and a half. So I can't drink now.
Drink up.
Well, I can't drink now.
Well, Greg, this is one of the only shows where not only the host is drinking, but the producer is, in fact, drunk.
Well, I like that. There he is. He's totally drunk. The background, if you're really interested.
Of course.
It actually is.
I wonder how you get into what you're doing,
Well, you know this because you're a headliner. It takes a lot of time. I mean, you can get lucky, and the ones that get lucky usually don't last very long. Like America's Got Talent or the TV reality shows, because there's no real talent there. And for you to have lasted this long and been a headliner and now doing all these lounges and shows and all the shows, I mean, it takes real talent what you're doing. And this is really, I think I'm proud of you.
Well, I think
And I'm older than you, so I'm more
by
proud
what
of you.
hours? Yeah,
Maybe
sure,
like
okay.
minutes.
Well, let me tell you something. I think that you would agree that anybody who lasts in this industry, period, has to have an underlying desire, more than anything, to make people happy, excite
a lot of
people,
luck.
and to really have that drive to want to genuinely entertain people for a living, and then the talent and everything else comes second. The business, whatever. I don't even know.
Well, you're right, because who wants this life? I mean, this life is as cool as this is, and as good-looking as you are. This is a tough life. This is not a good life. Agree? You
I'll
agree?
tell you, a couple more drinks, you might get lucky.
No, with you? That's not. I'm not gonna. That's not.
With those kind of
if
sweet
that did it
nothings in
for
my
me-
ear.
If that did it for me, I'd be the luckiest guy in the world. You know,
Pay-per-view.
it is. But I'm saying that it is luck. It is luck as well. And it's not a good life. Do
No,
you
I
think it's a
know.
good life?
I know.
You think it's a good life? Do you have a good life?
Well, I have a wonderful life, but I haven't done anything else in 27 years. I was a paralegal for a year. I
Okay.
didn't care for that much.
Well, that's
so
tough.
that's all I have to compare it to.
But what do you compare your? But what kind of life is this? I mean, you're living a life of you're pouring out your hearts to people. You don't make a lot of people. Most people don't make a lot of money. Your love life, where not in your case, where you're getting a teenager. But other than that, most of us don't have that. But I mean, it's eventually this life can end. Thus, that it's really hard to continually go in different directions.
Yes.
And being up late till 4 in the morning, which I know you do, drinking, which I know you do, having lots of sex, which I don't know. I don't even want to know what you do with that. But the point is that it's a tough life.
It is.
I mean, ask you've named Frankie Marino, who's really successful right now.
Yes.
Gordy Brown, who's tremendously talented and very successful.
For a long time.
You, very successful. Me, not as, but working up.
Stop it.
But so many people that are trying to. Oh my God, I know an impressionist in town, who goes down to the street what's that street downtown? Downtown, and wears something to take pictures to make $5 an hour. I mean, that's how tough it is out there.
I bet they make more money than half the entertainers in this town, to be honest.
Well, there you go. Then there's the reality of what this business is, and that is not a good thing, because what's happened is with the hotels, they're not paying anymore. Now it's four-walling.
Yes.
Four-walling, to those of you who don't know, is where you pay for your rent, you pay for the whole room. You pretty much buy your way into Las Vegas.
Huge gamble.
Yeah, and usually you lose the money.
Sure.
No doubt about it, you're going to lose the money.
Greg, are you four-walling?
We are a modified four-wall, and that's interesting, because what that means is they'll do more of the marketing. You pay for the room, you cover a lot of it.
So is it two-wall then?
No, it's not called a two-wall. It's called a modified four-wall.
Huh.
Believe me, the hotels have all kinds of words for it. And I'm lucky. I love the Las Vegas Hilton. They're terrific people.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm really honored to be there. And as I was with the Riviera, they were terrific too.
They are. But it's shocking for me to hear you say that there's a hotel that actually gets behind their entertainment, because that almost doesn't exist anymore either, especially if they're doing any marketing for you. And
I know
if you're saying that they're doing marketing for you, that's a tremendous
are.
campaign you've
They're
got going
very
on.
helpful.
You've got billboards and magazine ads
Well,
and
no,
everything.
a lot of that we had to pay for. We had to pay for a lot of that. There's a minimum amount, but even that is very helpful. Whereas the Riviera did, for instance, nothing.
Yes.
But they were terrific. This town, you always like everybody, and you're always thankful to everybody, because it's true. You're going to be back. It's always going to come back around again. The Riviera was great for me.
As an example,
for that?
here's one of your full-page ads in one of the
You're asking who
touristy
paid
magazines.
for that, and I don't really know. I don't know the answer to that, because I don't get involved in advertising, but that's a great ad. And I'm very proud of winning the best show in Nevada for
Voted by
2011.
Nevada Magazine.
Yeah, they're a big magazine. Have you ever seen their magazine?
Tremendous honor.
It is an honor.
That was when you were at, I know you.
Here at the Hilton.
Oh,
we just
it
won
was?
this. We just
Oh, no,
won
I
the
didn't
brand
know
new
that.
ad.
Oh, congratulations.
ad.
I thought you were talking
I think
about
we
when
should
you
drink
were
to
in
that.
Harrah's
I think we should drink to
Arena.
that.
Oh,
No,
congratulations.
that's a different one.
Oh,
Thank you.
I did not know that. Well, gosh. That's not easy to come by.
Well, I am. And you notice a great Clint Eastwood quote there. I mean, we're pulling out every stop we can. That's the entertainment business. Trying.
You got to sell yourself. You got, and with accolades like that helps.
Everything helps, and yet everything, and a lot of things don't help. Like, for instance, you get reviewed. Am I talking too much?
Are you kidding me? That's what we do here.
You get reviewed by a reviewer, And the reviewer, and I saw some people just got reviewed by a guy in town, and they were torn apart by this review. Yet, but the reality is, that review is only for one day. And who sees it? I don't know.
Right.
You know, and then the tourists, do they really care? You know?
No.
Probably not.
And to be honest, you have a brand new audience every 3 days.
Exactly.
Yes.
Hence why, you know, this town is tough. And it's you've got to continually market yourself. You've got to continually be out there and be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you something. Speaking of the tourists and fans of yours, we have what is called a live chat room where people watching live can actually chime in and ask you a question right now on the program. Would you be willing to take a question?
I would love to take a question.
Scott, who do we have in the chat room today that wants to ask a question?
Jason wants to know, A, how long has Greg been in Vegas, and B, what other things is Greg thinking about doing while in Vegas?
Oh.
Well, Jason, I like that name. That's my son's name, by the way. And my son has a great video on YouTube with me doing a duet. Just want to plug my boy, who I'm so proud of. We'll talk about that. I don't know if we have time. But Jason, your question.
And I want to get to Jessica as well.
And my daughter, Jessica. A great host. Jason, I've been in Vegas for about a year and a half. And I started with the Riviera and then went to the Hilton. And my plan is to survive. So, you know, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm giving you really is survive. Survive this time in Las Vegas history. And hopefully change up my show, because there's lots of things I want to do different. I want to do some more cool stuff. I want to do maybe a few less impressions and more of me singing, because I do love to perform in my voice too, which is something interesting to me.
Now, speaking of accolades,
come to our show, and if you say the code word Jason, I'll give you some comp tickets. That's the code word. It's got to be Jason. What am I telling everybody? Just Jason. Okay.
What made you decide to move from the Riv to Hilton?
Well, they made a good offer, and it was a better theater for us, better sound. We're a very audio-driven show, so we use a lot of computers in our show, a lot of track-heavy, but band is like 70% track, 30%, if you know what I mean. Musicians understand. So there's live band forward with some track back. Oh. All produced down in L.A., which is part of the whole
You have live musicians?
Yeah, 4 live players.
I did not know
Drums,
that.
2, a great guitar player, great bass player.
Good.
But the reason we went was because even though it was off the strip, it was a better theater experience for our show.
Now, you're in the Shimmer Cabaret, correct? I love that theater.
We call it the Shimmer Showroom.
Shimmer Showroom.
Yeah, we don't use
awesome.
we don't use the cabaret word.
Showroom
Like we don't use
works
the
for me.
spray tan word. We don't use spray tan. We don't use that word either. Just so you know, there's words we don't use. When is this thing over anyway?
Well, you were talking about your singing and that you know.
Yeah, I love to sing. I love performing.
Now, apparently, Mr. Big Shot, sitting next to me, got some pretty nice accolades a couple years ago with your own music.
Yeah.
With the awards out in Hollywood.
Right. That was wild.
That you did so well, then apparently that year later they asked you to host the event that you won an award at.
I didn't do it last year.
You didn't?
I should have done it.
Oh.
Well, because we were working and our producer said, no, we got a Saturday night, you got to work. But I wish I would have done that. But
now, what was the award that you got?
It was for Best Adult Contemporary Song for Everything I Own. And then I had Everything I Own and Cool Change. Remember Cool Change?
Sure.
I sing it to you, but
Cool.
Yeah. Cool Change. And we did a great version of that, and it did really well across America. Didn't make any money. When you do really well in America and you're like number 5, doesn't mean you make any money. You know, you understand the music industry. It's really interesting. But it did help me with other things, and I was really proud of that. And I want to do more of that. That's, to Jason's question, that's what I want to do. I want to do less impression, more really getting into production of music. I want to do more touring, performing around the world. And I've got a great French producer that we're working right now in Paris, because I live in Bordeaux, you know. Bordeaux, France. And
well, fancy.
Anyway, so that's my life right now. I love my life. I'm having a hard time in Las Vegas because of the way the world works here, but I love that I'm honored that I can still perform and people are going to come see me.
Let me ask you somewhat of a personal question, if I may.
No, I'm not gay. Other than that, was that your question? I like women. You know that. You know that. And I've asked you
apparently
many times to hook me up. And you know how many calls I've had from you?
Great.
Yeah, zero calls. All I get are just how great his life is with your girlfriend. She's a teenager. Her dad's, the same age as you. I mean, what a life you have. Maybe you do have a good life. Hey, Jason.
Well, we have something
Jason,
in common.
this is the guy. This is the guy you want to be like. Like
Yes,
this guy.
it is.
Here's the life.
Yes, everybody wants Zoe Bowie's life.
Now, where did you get the name Zoe Bowie from?
Isn't that pathetic?
No, I like that name, but what is that? Because you're Zoe Bowie sometimes, and you're Chris Phillips.
Well, who in the hell wants to pay to see Chris Phillips?
Oh my gosh, it's a marketing. You know what? That's terrific.
Thanks.
And where'd you come up with Zoe Bowie?
I will tell you the truth. 15 years ago,
Yeah.
I was a long-haired heavy metal drummer.
Really?
I had
Were
some
you tan?
friends.
Were you tan?
Not nearly. as
Okay.
tan.
All right.
I discovered that later. But that was back when I had hair.
You have hair.
I had hair I could tuck in my pants.
Really?
And
Wow.
Today I just have to scrape it all forwards from
By the way,
back here.
hair what you tuck in your pants usually is called pubic hair. It's a different kind of hair.
Oh my God!
But it's a different. I mean, why would you want to?
I could sit on my hair.
Oh,
It
you
was
sit
that
on
long.
it. Okay.
It was that long. I had some friends that were in early '80s new wave novelty band that did David Bowie and such, and they said, "Chris, we know that your idol is Elvis, Sammy
Oh,
Davis Jr.,
really?
David Lee Roth. We
didn't
know
know.
this is your chance.
Really?
We have a singer that got sick. We have this big show. Come down and sing with us." So I tucked
Wow.
my hair in my shirt,
Uh-huh.
and I pretended to be Zoe Bowie, David Bowie's kid,
I like it.
because I figured if I completely fell apart,
Yeah.
I could always fall back on, who cares? I'm David Bowie's kid.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, there you go.
I loved singing. I cut the hair, sold the drums. I said I want to be in a band. A couple months after I was in this 80s band, the novelty fell by the wayside, but the name stuck. And now it's become more of a brand than a band.
Right.
And I can't do anything about it because David Bowie or Zoe Bowie has nothing to do with my show.
Right.
Except it's just a name that I'm stuck with and people seem to remember it, and what the heck.
Yeah.
I'm going with
Well, I'm sorry I asked that question because I thought it would be
What a
more,
dull
more
answer that
interesting
was.
answer. Right.
We have one more question. Would you take another question?
Yes, another question.
I'm with Nate here. You're actually giving us a nice behind-the-curtain look at entertainers here, which is kind of cool. Nate said, when Greg said it was a hard life, does he mean the hours or something else with regards to being in Vegas?
Well,
Greg's full of shit.
Nate, no, I'm not. I'm not.
Hard life.
I would bet. I bet.
Chris, did you just
I would
cuss?
bet.
Oh,
I
I'm
would
sorry.
bet.
Did I say that?
I would bet that out of all the guests you've had, you're always talking about how great the show is and your show. But I'm telling you the truth, brother. And you already know
Would you
this.
want to really work for a living?
I do work for a living.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I call it work.
I've had some real jobs in my life. I was on the back of a truck that went to a retirement community to mow their lawns and to do all this.
Yeah.
This was many, many years ago.
Right. And there are guys that do that love doing it.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But I got off the truck. It was called Friendship Village.
Yeah.
I was about 18 years old. I had my little white tennis shorts on, and I had to run this thing called the Earth Mover or something, and it didn't
Right.
have a rock guard on it, so it was just kicking rocks into my thighs, causing bloody welts, and there was old people in golf carts sitting there watching me as their afternoon entertainment. I told myself I'll never work again.
Well, but you know what, Chris? I think what you described. See, I could take the other side of that. I think what you just described is the fact that where that was real work for you. People would say what you do would be real work for them. That guy that has taken your job over, who probably loves his job. I mean, I don't know, maybe doesn't. Could never do your job.
I get it
You're
for an hour and a
working.
half a night. I drink too much and act like a juvenile delinquent.
Well,
That's not work.
Yeah, but what it took
I
to
love
get there,
doing that.
what it took to get there is what I'm talking about. It's not the fact that you're having a great time, because if you don't love what you do in life or what a job you have, you shouldn't be doing it. I'm not saying that you don't love your job.
I pay to do what I do, though.
I don't know, really. Would you really pay? Would you really pay?
Oh, there's been many years I have.
Well, what was the question again from? I've forgotten. Nate, what did he ask? What did he say?
Well, you said it was hard, but you mentioned the hours originally. But is there other things? For instance, is the networking hard? Is it? I mean, this is the smallest large town ever. If you don't know people, a lot of people leave. You don't get anything. I mean, are you sensing that?
Well, what I find hard is probably what you probably love about your life, because you live a very glamorous life.
Oh yes.
You do, Chris. You do. You do. I know that this is the real you. Happy, fun, really. I mean, he's put together. But I'm gonna tell Nate where I fall off is that I love my family, like my children. I wish I could have them with me. I
Now,
love
that's
my
a whole
children.
other story.
I mean,
and I agree with you on this.
I can't have a regular life with my children. I mean, I keep a house rented in Reno. I have a woman that takes care of my son is good at, I mean, you know, these are very hard things for me to be away from.
That is true.
The children I love. The ex-wife, that's no problem. But the kids and then life. You know, I miss mowing the lawn. So Nate, the question is, what's life? What's important in your life? Those things that are important, you have to sometimes give up for what this is. Am I wrong? You think?
No, you're absolutely right. And quite frankly, I'm very envious and jealous that I've never had the pleasure of having children yet.
It's terrific.
I just date them. I'm sorry I had to say
So good.
God,
so
that's
good.
terrible.
So I don't know. Did we answer Nate's question well? That is that good enough? All right. Yeah.
Now tell us about your daughter Jessica, who is an equestrian.
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you a story. I don't ever usually talk. How much long do I have to talk to you?
About 2 or 3 hours.
Okay. I was born. No, my daughter. I had a daughter that was born without a left hand. She was just born. We didn't do a lot of drugs. I didn't come from a drug-drinking family. It just happened.
Sure.
And when she was born, I thought, oh my God, what's going to happen with this girl? She's going to, who's going to want to date her? That's what you go through as a father.
Of course, absolutely.
And you actually kind of mourn. I'm thinking like, oh, she won't play the piano,
Right,
oh my God, how she won't play the guitar, but she can play the trumpet. I mean, you go through all the things that are crazy. And then you think, well, she'll get half off on manicures. She'll get.
Oh, Greg. Oh my God.
Well, what? But that you see, I think that's terrific.
I know.
You've got to have fun with whatever your disability is.
I totally agree.
And I'm totally disabled. See, I have fun with it. But my daughter, I think I was chosen by God. I was a perfect father for her because I'm all about fun and craziness, and So here now, fast forward to now she's 19, and we moved to France 10 years ago, and which was the greatest thing I ever did for her because she found horse riding. And she has become one of the top jumpers of horses. And in jumping, finding a sport that's perfect for her, when you jump, the judges don't want to see your hands. Isn't that interesting? So she's kind of like, and the judges don't know she's missing a hand.
So she, in essence, can disguise.
She's cheating, is what you're trying to say. And she is cheating because she's jumping 6 foot. And she's got a beautiful boyfriend, and the guys are always trying to date her, and she's gorgeous. And you know what?
That's wonderful.
It all
Gotta be
turned
very
out.
proud of her.
It all turned out. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. We've had our ups and downs, as teenagers do, but all that worry was for nothing. And now I realize that all that pain and crying, whatever, I didn't need it. And I would tell anybody having a child that has a disability that you just got to believe and let them have their life and just support them because things can turn out just terrific. Now, I know you were born without hair. So, and look what you've done. You did a fabulous job.
Thank God for wig shops.
Come on, you got to give me 5 on that one. That's pretty good. You got to give me a good one on that one. Anyway, it's lovely to have been here with you, Chris. Are we still going? I can't drink anymore. I have a show.
I know. Well, see, let me ask you this. Do you drink during the show?
I do not drink during the show.
You do not drink during the show.
But I would like to have that opportunity.
Does it impair your ability?
Yes. I can't think. And my show is driven by, you have to say a line. It's a production show. So I say a line, a cue is hit, a voice talks to me, an actor talks to me. Everything is timed. I have a few moments where I can talk to the audience and stuff, which I'd like to do more, but this is, I can't be. The other night, I lost my voice, so I called up an impressionist in town who told me drink, what's that drink? Not Crown Royal, it's that other drink that's good for the throat. Jägermeister. I was so wasted on stage.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
And it was kind of fun, but I couldn't live that way.
No, who told you that?
A guy named Robert De Niro impressionist guy.
Yeah,
Robert
I know.
Nash.
Yes, I know.
By the way, he's terrific. I like him. And he struggles. There's a struggle life, I love that guy. Does a show called Rack and Roll.
Yeah.
He's in
at Hooters.
So the dancers, the topless dancers, and he comes out in the middle and he does his routine. And I think that's so tough. Yeah. God bless him. God bless all these entertainers in town. I mean, I really, respect every one of them.
I do too, believe me. On
Except
all
the Dean
ends.
Martin impressionists. I don't like Dean Martin impressionists. I don't like them. I don't like them. And the problem I have with it, with impersonators are, if they live their life off stage as they do on stage,
Right.
and they pretend to be like, well, I'm just having a drink around now. How you doing? And starts
That
talking
becomes
to
a
me.
little odd, yes. I
Well,
agree.
you know, who are you talking to? Who am I talking to?
Right.
And there are Elvis guys like that too.
Yeah, I know.
Not that anything's wrong with that. Maybe you need to be that. Maybe that's part of the, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's part of the art of it.
Well, you know, I think a lot of us, you know, growing up are very inspired or have these iconic heroes that we look up to that at one point we want to become, which leads me to our next topic, which I'd like to talk about. We're going to take a short little break first. And I find this so interesting, something you did some years ago that I'm so jealous of. I thought was so cool. But I want to talk about that when we come right back. Folks, you're watching Talktails on the Vegas Video Network. We are sitting here with the multi-talented Greg London, who currently has a hot show over at the Las Vegas Hilton. We'll be right back.
Oh, hello there. My name is Brandon Gooch Hahn, host of Awkward Silence 2.1. And when I'm not living vicariously through Chris Phillips, I'm on VegasVideoNetwork.com.
I know. I love that idea. Hey, everybody, guess what? You're watching Talktails with me, Chris Phillips, and somebody who actually has some talent, Mr. Greg London, who is the big star, Mr.
you.
Big Shot,
Oh,
over at the Las Vegas Hilton.
I like that. That's
Yes.
a Harris. That's a Harris.
That was back when you were doing the thing in Reno, correct?
Yeah, that was a cool.
Where you won the Entertainer of the Year.
I did. I was left.
2009, was it?
2009, and that show is called Icon Man, and is doing impressions, saving the world one impression at a time.
Yeah, I like that.
I liked it too.
That's really cool.
I like
You always got good catchphrases and things with
but I
impressions
don't
that
have one
rock.
of those impressions that rock.
No,
What
that's
does that mean?
cool.
Really?
Yeah, I love that. You got you dressed up with all the different.
Yeah. Well, that's again, you do part of the marketing.
Right,
You know, what does he do? The question is, like you said, who's Chris Phillips, right?
Well, see, the problem I've had for my whole life is what's a Zowie Bowie, Zoe Bowie? What are they? A comedy, magic act? Is she Zoe? Is he Bowie?
Right.
You know exactly what you do. You know exactly what you're getting yourself into when you see your marketing. I've screwed that up for years.
No,
You have no idea what
I
you're
don't-
getting yourself into when you go
I
see
don't
me.
think so. I think
because it could be a vintage Vegas big band show on one day, or it could be me trying to be a hip
Well,
hop
that's
rapper
true.
the next.
You
That's
have to
ridiculous.
decide. I agree. That's confusing.
Sure.
Because to me, Zoe Bowie to me, it's like the brand is this really cool guy.
Well, most
I
people
don't
think
think
I'm
of-
doing a David Bowie tribute, for goodness sakes, which has nothing to do with my show. I've screwed this up for years.
Yeah, I would see why you
Oh,
would.
my God,
Why
yes.
wouldn't you? Why is Zoe Bowie? But you know, I think you've transcended that. I
Well,
think it's worked.
You're very kind.
with your. Well, I mean, I wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't tell you.
Well,
if it's not true.
speaking of cool, you've done the coolest thing in the world.
Let me think. What the coolest thing?
Scott,
That's got to be.
this is a
I know what
guy
it is.
who auditioned to be the next James Bond.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's
Wow.
cool.
That's very interesting.
When did that happen?
And this was back in the days when Timothy Dalton actually
no
got the
kidding.
role
Right, that's
for a
right.
couple of years.
Very cool.
If you would have got it, you would have stayed.
That's an interesting story.
I know.
I won't take.
I
time
want to
to-
hear about that. Well, just give us a little. How did that come about? You're living in London, I'm assuming.
Well, that was 22 years ago, 21 years ago, and what happened there a long time ago. But what a great story! I was working at the Windsor Theater in a little town called Windsor.
Which
and
you
I
did a lot of musicals and such.
That's
along
all my
the
musical
path.
background.
Sure.
And I was doing a lot of Shakespeare at that time. In sooth, I know not why I am so sad it wearies me. You say it wearies you, but how I caught it. Found it came, but what stuff 'tis made of, where 'tis born, I am to learn. Well, anyway, there you go. Merchant of Venice, the part is Antonio. Okay, so Shakespeare.
Wow.
And Barbara Broccoli, this beautiful, dark-haired, 23-year-old girl comes and sees me and says, you know, at that time I think I was about 20, I don't care, you know, I'm over 50. But I was at 27 years old, 27, 26, anyway. And she said, you know what? We're looking for the next James Bond.
So she's related to Albert Broccoli.
She's the daughter.
Oh
She's
my gosh, how
Barbara
cool.
Broccoli, Cubby's daughter. So she brings me into an audition at Pinewood Studios. Pinewood Studios was where all the Bond movies were. And I was there with about maybe 20 guys. Yeah, it could be 30. It was a lot of guys. No more than 30, though, that were auditioning for the part of James Bond. And they chose 15 of us to go to Morocco.
Oh, God, that's cool.
So then I was in Morocco doing a scene from the Bond movie. And at that time, you know, I talk with an English accent. I mean, I am English,
Well, your mother's English and your father's American, correct?
Uh-huh. My father, adopted father, and didn't know him very well, Jerry Franks. Anyway, so I didn't get too far with that, to be honest with you. It was not like I had the chance of becoming James Bond, but the chance was I did. And I'm even in the records, like there's a couple articles that I noticed on Timothy Dalton's webpage. If you go Greg London, Timothy Dalton, on his webpage, it talks about meeting me because we were really close. I thought I was close.
That's cool.
I thought I was close. Back then, of course, I had big muscles like you, and I was worked out.
Yes,
but here I am now doing impressions, and I'm having a great time.
Well, good for you.
And things work out for a reason. I don't know. Why am I here? I don't know, but I'm with you.
Well, let me just ask you really quick, because we're unfortunately coming to the end of our little segment, and I couldn't be more.
Can we do this again when I can drink?
I was just going to say, would you please come back?
Yeah, when I can drink.
I would. Well,
bring back. Can we do like when we have can we get Frankie and Gordy and do that thing that we do like late night? That's kind of fun. That's kind of,
Well, that's what I was alluding to.
I would think that'd be fun.
We hang out, of course, at night, periodically here and there.
Yeah, I just don't go to the. Yeah.
What's your favorite shows in town? What do you like to go see here in town?
Well, I love
asking that to every entertainer.
Yeah, I love watching you and name that tune.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And
everybody's favorite show.
My favorite show, I love the Beatles show. That's my favorite show. But I'm always open to
the love thing.
The love. Yeah. I'm glad you didn't ask me what shows I don't like, because I really. Unfortunately, I better not say that.
Well, I do ask that question too.
But really, I don't.
Are you going to tell me?
No, I can't do that.
All right.
Because I'm just. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. But there are some shows I just won't go see, because maybe they're using the F word too much. I don't like the F word.
What do you think of our buddy Frankie Moreno?
I think he's unbelievable. I think Gordy's unbelievable. I think
is.
you're unbelievable. I think Clint Holmes is unbelievable. I think that his wife is unbelievable.
Kelly Clinton.
Yeah, she's incredible. I think that what is one of my favorite shows in this town right now? It's probably only the one Cirque show, and then I'm waiting for the Michael Jackson. I can't wait to see the Michael Jackson.
That'll be something else.
But you know what? I just like the star. I liked Rod Stewart. Interesting. I saw him, but I also met him in Monaco when I was there last summer.
Oh, wow.
And he talked about it. I said, well,
and I know you do him in your show, correct?
I do, and it was so fun to meet him and talk to him and his family and his little kids. And he said, I asked him about Vegas because I like performing, but I like getting the hell out of Vegas. And I thought, really? That's too bad. Because you know what? I think you're doing pretty good in Vegas, and you should get out more and see some of the other shows that are around. Especially Zoe Bowie, who looks a little like you, Rob. Who looks a little like you. Check him out.
If I had $1 for any time anybody's ever said I look like either Rod Stewart or Siegfried.
Oh! Siegfried. Yeah. Well, look, you're doing really well. I'm proud of you, and I'm really honored to be in your show. Next time I'd like to have drinks. And I got to get to my show.
Well, I'm going to come drink with you at your show this week, my friend. I promise I will be there.
Come like Wednesday or Saturday.
I will be there, I promise.
All right.
My friends, we are honored to have Mr. Greg London with us from the Las Vegas Hilton. My name is Chris Phillips. You're watching Talktails. And again, you can email us anytime at talktails@vegasvideonetwork.com. What can I say? We are honored to have you, my friend.
I'm honored, and you're a great host.
Oh, you're being awfully generous.
Let's talk on
Thank
stage.
you so much.
Let's talk on stage.
Oh,
can you see that? Look at that. Can you see that? Oh, did anybody ever see that? Did he ever do that?
A mid-torso.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go. That's okay. They don't know what happened above there, do they?
The only entertainer in Las Vegas more tan than Zoe Bowie.
I don't think I like that. I don't like that idea. I'm cutting this.